understand part of the question, and I call the member for Gilmore.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Well, I'm very pleased to talk on this bill, and I know that this bill will not lower the amount of local content that is currently available to regional audiences on commercial radio, which, Deputy Speaker, is a great thing. I want to give a really huge shout out to all my local commercial radio stations on the New South Wales South Coast, Radio 2ST and Power FM, Radio 2EC, Wave FM and I98 FM, and of course my local TV stations, which are champions. They have their reporters out on the ground all the time, Win TV and 9 News Illawarra. But, Deputy Speaker, I want to talk first of all about commercial radio and the role of my local radio stations during the recent bushfires, just to show how crucial that they are for our community. I grew up listening to my local Radio 2ST radio station, and back in the days, Graham French was the newsreader, and he started working at Radio 2ST in 1983 when I was 13 years old. And like many in the community, I listened over many years. There was the news, there was three-way turf talk, there was lots and lots of coverage of community events, and I was totally fascinated. And in fact, it was Graham French and the Radio 2ST news stories of the coverage of the Nowra Pool campaign that eventually led me into this place. I could never forget the media stories about my beloved pool being described as an ugly duckling. And here I am, and I'm pleased to say that that pool has been transformed into a very modern aquatic park. But on his retirement in 2015, after more than 3 decades on the radio, and I think it's really important to mention this today, Graham said, of the thousands of stories he's covered over the years, Graham said the Shoalhaven bushfires in 2001 proved to be one of the most challenging. He said in those times the radio was the immediate means of letting people know that their home may be in danger and they've got to get out. It was horrendously long hours, he went on to say. That was some time ago, and of course fast forward to the 2019-2020 bushfires, and I'm pleased to say that Radio 2ST and the journos there were there every step of the way. They were tireless. I want to send a big shout out to Gavin and all the team at Radio 2ST and Power FM for their excellent coverage. I spent a lot of time at Fire Control, or the Shoalhaven Emergency Management Centre, during the fire, and I saw the commercial broadcasters, all the broadcasters, and the fantastic role that they played in ensuring that our community had the information they needed to remain safe. Apart from that, Radio 2ST is there every step of the way. Every event I go to, major public community event, Radio 2ST are there. They're sponsoring events, whether it's the local show or a town hall meeting, they're there, and I really want to thank them. Another commercial broadcaster in my electorate is the wonderful Radio 2EC in the Eurobodalla. And look, what a wonderful station and presenters we have there as well. Of course, we've got Tonya, the wonderful radio journalist who did an amazing job during the bushfires. I say job, but it went far beyond a job. It was 24/7 for weeks and weeks and months with little rest. It's important that that contribution is recognised in this parliament. Because people there, our broadcasters and the staff, did the most amazing job. They helped their communities. What Tonya reported on not only helped save lives, but it helped people with vital information. It was someone to listen to in the most crazy and distressing of times. And our radio journos heard so much. They saw so much. They saw the anguish, they saw and heard the fear. And then when the fires were over, and a lot of the international media went away, it was our local journos, our local commercial radio broadcasters and our local ABC that were there. But that recovery is still ongoing and it's going to take years. But it's our broadcasters and our journos that are there every single day. I know that they are there, they're always asking the hard questions, but they're also sharing the many positive stories that have come out of this awful experience. Our community has rallied so much. There are great stories, and our commercial radio broadcasters are part of telling that story. I just want to mention Wave FM and I-98 a little bit further north, but also covering in my electorate. And even though they were a little bit further north, they were still talking about the bushfires and ensuring that people in the northern parts of the electorate had that vital information. Deputy Speaker, we also had so many donations and so many people wanting to help, and our journalists and our commercial radio broadcasters did a fantastic job at helping people there. And our local TV stations, what an amazing job that they did during the bushfires, and they're always doing, every single day. WIN TV and 9 News Illawarra, they are just amazing. They also worked tirelessly to cover the 2019-20 bushfires. And I want to say thank you to each and every local TV journo, camera person and everyone working behind the scenes to get the stories out to our communities. Deputy Speaker, our local TV reporters on the ground are essential. During the bushfires, when your phones go down, when your NBN goes down and even your radio might go down, it's vital to have local reporters there to cover what's really going on the ground. We need to support our local regional media. Local regional media covers the stories we need to hear, and it means local jobs. We need to do absolutely everything to support our local media. We can't lose our local media. We need to stand up and fight for our local media, and that's what I will continue to do every single day.